I'm gonna look at chapter 2, verse 7 and 8. It can protect us, y'all, and we live in a time where we need to be protected
Yes, we do.
because the
Man,
enemy is out to steal, kill, and
Destroy.
destroy.
he's trying to kill us, y'all. Y'all think Satan playing? Try him if you want to.
Hmm.
Satan is out to steal, kill, and destroy. And we need as much protection as we can get. But if we don't walk in integrity,
Hmm.
he can have his way. Read that for me. Proverbs 2, chapter 2, verses 7 and 8.
He grants a treasure of common sense to the honest. He is a shield to those who walk with integrity. He guards the path of the just and protects those who are faithful to him.
Come on, talk
Amen.
to me. Talk to me. Give me a real life example of what that scripture is saying. That one about integrity. He is a shield to those who walk in integrity. Give me an example.
A person example. Okay.
I'm gonna give you one that happened with me. So when I accepted Christ in my life, I was at a place to where literally life was actually good. Um, but my former wife was just she had enough. In her spirit, she felt like I was doing a lot of dirt, but she just couldn't. And so, I mean, we had been married almost 10 years, and so it was 10 years of just knowing in your gut that somebody ain't doing you right, but never being able to have evidence to prove it. You know, and so she had finally made a good decision to say, "Hey, I'm out. I'm gone. Me and the children are gone. We moving to Tampa, and we gone." And so, even though life appeared to be good for me, the fact that my children were going to be living in another city, and I'm a protector. That's what I am. That's what I'm a protector. Even right now, as a pastor, if somebody walk in here and think they was talking about somebody was out there with a gun on Sunday, if he'd have walked in Greater Bethel and
Oh
he
my.
walked in here with I'm telling you where the first one coming from. It's coming from the pastor because I'm always prepared to protect. That's just who I am. And so when that she told me that she was taking my children, and so now I'm like, how can I protect my children all the way in Tampa? And that broke me because I wasn't even saved. That broke me. And so, but that's what it took to break me. If she would have never made that decision, I don't know if I would ever got saved. But the fact that I wouldn't be able to protect my children, it made me realize that I wasn't Ron Almighty. And so it's at that point that I began. I had my granddaddy. He should have been maybe 93 years old. My great granddaddy, his name was Papa. 93, 94 years old. I think Papa was about 94 years old. I think he was 96 when he died, and he died 2 years later. So about 90, he about 94 years old, and he was living over in Duval in the house that I grew up in. And I would just go around and sit and talk. I wouldn't talk. I'd just sit on the porch and just out there with my papa for about 3, 4 hours, and just he would just talk. He was a farmer. He was a preacher, AME preacher, retired, and just listen to him talk. I needed to be around somebody that had sense because I realized that all of my foolishness that done caught up with me and my children was about to leave, and that was my heart.
Mm.
And Papa wasn't really talking to me about being saved. He was just talking to his great grandson about life. Because I used to go spend the summers with him in Crittman, Georgia, and work on the farm with him, and so we were just talking about just life. But after about a week of sitting around there listening to Papa, I was like, man, I know what the problem is. And that Sunday, I was there Monday through Friday. That Sunday, I went to my mama's church. My mama was a pastor. Because I knew what I needed. I knew I needed the God that I walked away from when I was 17 years old. I was 27 at the time. And I went to church. I don't even know what they said. I just know God told me to go to church. I went to church, And when she made that opportunity to get saved, I walked up to that altar and gave my life to Christ. And when I gave my life to Christ, I was a big relief. But the kicker came after that. God told me, because even now I got to go through this divorce. So now in divorce, I got to put my ducks in a row. She got her ducks in a row, and we're gonna see how this thing gonna shake out. God told me to tell her everything. Now that's gonna risk me getting. If I'm fighting for my kids, that's gonna really make them mad right there.
Mm-hmm.
And God said, tell her everything. I talked to some spiritual people and said, what do you think? It was like, you better not. You better not do that. I understand that you saved and you feel, but you better not do that right there. You better talk to God again. But God told me to tell her everything. I sat down with her and I told her everything. She started acting about specific moment. What about when that receipt came from the Embassy Suites in Jacksonville? Yep, you're right. What about when you was at Beach Week? What about this right here when we was about to go to some island, some crew? I forgot. What about that right there when you came home at 4 o'clock in the morning when we was gonna leave? Yep. I just admitted everything. Oh my God. But guess what? She got mad. I ain't gonna lie. She told me I'd never see my kids again. But because I walked in integrity and got all that off of my shoulder, that was in 94 when she left me. In 98, 4 years later, she called me and said, Ron needs to be in. Ron, my oldest son. Ron needs to live with you. I see the man that you are. And now he's in the fifth. I think Ron was in the 5th grade. And he needs to be around the man that you are. And I said, well, he don't need to come by himself. Can Kiara come? They don't need to be separated. She's like, yes, that would help me. And then by this time, she had another child, and that was Jamal. He wasn't my biological son. And I said that Jamal could come too. That's their brothers and sisters.
Mm-hmm.
And so I told her truth in 94. In 98, not only did God give me my children back, but gave me an extra one. And I'm the only daddy that Jamal know. I changed his name when after 1 year living with me. I went and changed his name to Rose.
Mm-hmm.
But integrity is what not only blessed me to get my children back, but God gave me another child that's extremely gifted. Jamal been my musician since he was 5 years old. Started out on the drums, and now he been my musician in every church I've had, and moved to the organ. Tell me God won't do it.
You do it.
Yes, he will.
But what if I wouldn't have walked in integrity? God will shield us. God will protect us. Even when we do stupid stuff, if we're willing to be accountable and walk in integrity, but sometimes fear of the unknown will cause us to abort our mission to be people of integrity.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll choose to disobey God in order not to face the consequences of humans. I asked Jamal one day, I said, Jamal, do you ever, and this was like within the last year, I said, Jamal, do you ever have any desire, to meet your real dad? And Jamal was like, you my real daddy. I don't have no desire to meet nobody. You my real daddy. Come on.